This is Mark Bell from SuperTraining Gym, the strongest gym in the West. And today we're going to be talking about fat loss.
Hey.
And I got my boy, Nick Wright, who's done some bodybuilding and some powerlifting, gone up and down in weight. And he's going to tell us some good tips on fat loss. So here we go.
So this is for both general fat loss, like if you're just getting started in the gym, maybe you're overweight, you want to make a transformation, or if you're already on a roll and you want to just get shredded now, they all kind of apply. It's just how extreme you go with them. First one I would say is eat less and try some form of intermittent fasting. Now, intermittent fasting is not some magical diet, despite what some of the arguments try to say. It doesn't do anything magical to you. It's no better than eating 6 meals a day from morning to night. But what it does do is it allows you to eat larger meals at the end of the day. You basically save all of your calories till the end of the day, and you can eat larger meals and usually fill up faster. And now, you don't have to go crazy with it either. There's no one right or wrong window of time to not eat and eat. You can literally just try something simple like maybe foregoing breakfast. Have a lot of water instead. Make sure you have good water in you. If you drink caffeine, caffeine's good for curbing your appetite a little bit. So just water and coffee in the morning. Don't overthink it. If you take a little bit of something sweet like a diet soda, don't worry about it breaking your fast. We're just changing the schedule of eating around a little bit.
Keeping the calories very, very low. Like
yes.
Maybe you have some BCAAs during your workout, or you're trying to really just not have hardly any calories. So it's something to keep in mind. But if you do have just a little bit of calories, I wouldn't really sweat. I see people just making too big a deal about it. And all we're really asking you to do, we're asking you to just partition off your calories for later in the day. And what I've found and what Nick's found is that this just might be more comfortable for some people. For me, it's more comfortable. I think for him, it's more comfortable. And so it's a great option to utilize some intermittent fasting.
And an unpopular opinion is, in contrast, I think eating a lot of smaller meals throughout the day can actually lead to overeating easier. Because I've personally found, I'm sure a lot of people can agree, if you start eating early in the morning, it just gets your appetite going and you're revved up. And by nighttime, you're already 5 meals deep. So you've had almost all your calories and you're starving. You're ready to go to eat at night. So if you just hold off a little bit, eat later in the day, you can make your evening meals huge and you won't be going over your calories. So that's number one.
There's also some research showing that you have a cascade of hunger that hits you throughout the day, regardless of whether you eat or not. I'll say that one more time. You have a cascade of hunger that hits you multiple times throughout the day, whether you had a meal or didn't. So you're going to have to deal with being kind of hungry anyway. Even when I was 330 pounds, when I was powerlifting, was I hungry then? Yeah, I was hungry. I was very hungry. And so you're going to have to deal with hunger, whether you're trying to bulk or whether you're trying to, it's just a matter of how do you want to deal with it. And through intermittent fasting, it's easier just to kind of put the meals at the end of the day.
Yep.
And also you just might find it more comfortable to eat larger meals. One thing I would caution you against, though, and this is something I heard that I think makes a lot of sense, is one of the key factors with fasting is to pretend that it never happened. So not from a protein standpoint, because you want to make sure you get your protein in every single day. Whatever protein amount you want to set for yourself, I'd say 1 gram per pound is a perfect place to start. But you have to just really make sure that when you get off of your fast, that it's not an all-out gluttonous field day with food.
Right. You're still controlling your food, but now you can control it with slightly bigger portions, but you still have to use discipline. And speaking of hunger, that would probably bring me into number 2, which would simply be fill up your meals or snacks with more satiating foods. So foods that are going to hold you over longer, not make you feel as hungry. Typically proteins and fats being the heavy hitters for these. So if you're hungry and you want a small meal to hold you over, instead of going for a bagel or a muffin, carbohydrates, carbs are not evil, but they will usually leave you feeling hungry sooner. So instead, if you have some chicken breast, you can season it however you want, put whatever you want on it, but something that's high in protein, maybe high in fat, some fat contents, that'll usually leave you feeling fed for a longer period of time.
A lot of things are high in energy and really low in satiation. So like you think something like candy bars, ice cream, like, what is 300 calories of ice cream look like versus what does 300 calories of egg whites look like?
Right.
300 calories of egg whites, you're kind of like, whoa, that's actually a pretty decent amount of food. Or
it's
even
more
rice.
Volume.
Yeah, or even something like rice, which is mainly a carbohydrate. But yeah, you get more volume in there. Things like a potato, things like a steak. And I know from my own personal experience that I've done a lot of keto style stuff, but the calories add up a lot from that as well. So it might be something to look at. Can you pick off a little bit of calories here and there from your diet that are they're just unnecessary.
Right.
They're just these little unnecessary traps that you might have. It could be soft drinks, it could be a number of things. But for me, it was just, I don't know, extra eggs or extra fat on steaks, ribeyes and bacon and so on. Like, could I eat 3 slices of bacon rather than 6? Could I use 4 ounces of cheese instead of 8? Those little things over a period of time, they'll really add up, and it will keep you from feeling like a mouse on a wheel.
Right, right.
Trying to have to exercise everything off all the time.
And that would actually segue beautifully into what I would say is the next one, which is, you mentioned it quickly, is swapping some things out that are calorically dense. So if you use barbecue sauce in your chicken every day, if you look at barbecue sauce, it's a lot of sugar. It's high calories for just a little bit of sauce, and it's all sugar. So you're taking up a decent amount of your calories there. If you weigh out, X amount of barbecue sauce, you might get like a little teaspoon of it, and then weigh that same calorie amount out in chicken breast, you're gonna see a huge difference there. The chicken breast will be so much more filling for the amount you're getting. So switch to low calorie or no calorie alternatives. So instead of using barbecue sauce and ketchup, switch to perhaps mustard, depending on what it is. Can't put mustard on everything, but mustard is virtually calorie free. And then look for like low calorie alternatives. Like they have virtually calorie-free ketchup now, or very low-calorie, sugar-free ketchup now. So something like that. There's
Yellow popcorn.
Right. There's no point in adding on calories with just toppings.
Right.
And you said drinks. Soda's a huge one. Switch to diet soda right away. Soda is so jam-packed with calories. Right. It's huge. I mean, you're having a whole meal's worth of calories with one soda. It's adding up so fast. Easy switch to diet. People are like, oh, it doesn't taste the same. It tastes a whole lot better than just like cutting it out altogether and sticking to just chicken breast and water. Switch to diet soda. You'll adapt in 5 minutes and forget that it tastes any different, and you'll love it, and it'll be no calories.
There's some other options too. Like if you're looking for, you want to have electrolytes, you want to have something that's actually going to advance you. And for those of you in a caloric deficit, for those of you on a ketogenic style diet or a low carb diet, you might want to try a product called Element. They have a bunch of different flavors, really good product. There's another product I use. It's called Keto Vitals. Those are great. If you're worried about the artificial sweeteners like sucralose or some of these things, I would first just point out the fact that you're always better off dropping some body fat in most cases. Not everyone needs to drop body fat. But if you're 50, 60, 80, 100 pounds overweight, that should be your priority at the moment, is to drop body fat. That's going to be the safest thing and the healthiest thing for you. In terms of, whether these things promote cancer, the diet sodas or whatever, it's very hard to know any of that. If you want to make a switch and make a change there's Zevia. I don't know if you guys ever tried that, but they make soda, they make tea, they make an energy drink. It's stevia and monk fruit, and there's a lot of products like that now on the market. So sometimes I find it interesting that people choose to say, "Oh, well, it's just so easy to get out of shape because there's so many convenient foods that taste so good."
Right.
But we're in a time and we're in an era where there's more healthy food.
Yes.
And there's more coaches online. We have a lot of really wonderful resources. And go through the grocery store, and there's a lot of great options in terms of like diet foods, or low calorie options, or even low carb options, whatever fits your particular diet. So, you can kind of look at it from the negative side and say, yeah, there's a Carl's Jr. on every block and a McDonald's. Right. A bunch of junk stuff from there. But even at something like 7-Eleven, even at the airport, you can usually get hard-boiled eggs. You can usually get cheese. There's usually better options. There's a book that was put out years ago called Eat This, Not That. I think it's a great place to start. It's not a diet book. It's just basically referencing like, hey, Applebee's has this and it's 1,500 calories, but Applebee's also has this and it's 700 calories.
Right.
So options like that might be a good place to start.
Yep. And then I would say another big one to losing weight is just stay active. So cardio is obviously always amazing, but like if you're brand new, say you're very, very overweight, you haven't really done any training, new nutrition, you're just getting into it, you want to make a change for your life. Cardio may sound a little intense, a little intimidating. You might think of, football practice, something really intense that you're not ready for. But all you really need to do is just move. Movement and activity burns calories. Your body uses calories to fuel that movement. So just getting out for a walk every day, or even starting with just three days a week, if you're really out of shape, starting with 3 days a week, a 45-minute walk, something as easy as that, just doing it consistently and then not rewarding yourself with food afterwards. And then, you can kick that up to 4 times, 5 times a week. And then as you go into that, you can up the cardio, or you can even do things like add a weighted vest when you're moving around. It's just extra weight that your body is supporting, and therefore using a little bit more energy to support burning more calories, and just keep that consistently going.
Yeah, and find things that you enjoy. Find things that you like. Maybe you like to ride your bike.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, screw doing a walk. You don't have to listen to us on the walking.
Right.
Go ahead and ride your bike. Maybe you like to hike, or whatever it is that you like to do. Try to find something that you like to do and devote some time towards it. Make it easy. Make it really simple. Make it the low-hanging fruit, so it's something that you can do often. Once you're able to do it often, it'll be habitual, and it will be something that you won't allow to be compromised by anybody else. I would also say, I would really heavily suggest that you lean towards finding some sort of resistance training, because consuming protein and stuff like that throughout the day is great, because it can help increase protein synthesis and help you recover, help you hold the muscle mass that you have. But so can weight training, and weight training can do so in a profound way. And then on top of that, it can make you feel really good about yourself, because you're going to find yourself able to do things that you never thought were possible.
Right.
All of a sudden, you're able to pop out 5 or 10 push-ups, and you're like, damn, I didn't know my body can do that.
Definitely.
All of a sudden,
Definitely.
you're able to do walking lunges without any pain in your knee, and
Yep.
you have access to a lot more movement, a lot more exercise, and this is something that you can hold on to and utilize for your whole life, because you can work out until you can lift weights till the day you die.
I can't stress that enough. I agree 1,000% with what he said. And I've seen that a lot. I've seen a lot of people start really overweight, and they did everything we talked about with the eating and being more active, some cardio and stuff like that, just going on walks or whatever they preferred, but then also throwing in weight training and getting in some programming. And again, it doesn't have to be extreme. Don't go for breaking records, nothing nuts, just getting in there and working. And man, it makes the biggest difference for all the reasons he said. Physically, it is adding to your weight loss progression, but then mentally, just the confidence you're building is just gonna compound and compound and compound.
And I wouldn't think that you have to do a bunch of stuff that you hate. Like maybe you only like to work out your upper body.
Right.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I wouldn't choose to work out that way, because I think you're being a chump. But you can work out whatever way you like, whatever fits your needs. You don't need to worry about what everybody else gets into. But the last point on that is that building muscle mass is going to be something that you can always rely on. So unfortunately, they say the rich get richer, the poor get poorer. Well, the fat get fatter too. That's what happens, is like once you start to have that, like it snowballed on me. And next thing I knew, I went from like 270, 280, 290. And I was really, really strong. And I was kind of in my prime around 270, 290 range. But next thing I know, I ended up being like insulin resistant.
Yeah, right.
Like basically diabetic.
Mm-hmm.
And then any of the carbohydrates I took in, or any of the extra calories I took in, went against me tenfold.
Yes.
Because I wasn't sleeping well, because I had sleep apnea. I had high blood pressure and a whole host of other things. However, I had my lifting, right? I had lifting. So lifting was always something that was there. So when I wanted to reverse out of it, it wasn't that bad for me. It wasn't that challenging. But even for me, I almost got sucked in all the way.
Right.
There was no turning back. So
Right.
I can't imagine if I was 55, or if I never had lifting in my life and my body fat percentage was higher, it would be that much harder to flip that switch. So build muscle. You don't have to walk around and look like a meathead, but you do need to have muscle mass on your body. Strength is never a weakness, like you always say, right?
And something is always better than nothing. So like you said, you just want to do upper body, but you weren't doing anything before, then that's a nice upgrade.
Absolutely. We got one more.
So
fat burning pills.
A lot
around the block a bunch.
A lot of Clen, a lot of T3. Well, one thing, so I don't know if you want to count this as one on its own or just a compliment to everything, but one of the most crucial key to success in all of this, I think, is you need to set a goal for yourself that is outside of your comfort zone, a big long-term goal. It's a little outside of your comfort zone. For me, it was a bodybuilding show. That's very outside. I can't just back off and say, I'm not gonna do the diet this week, because I know at the end of 12, 13 weeks, I'm gonna be on stage in front of people embarrassing myself if I don't stick to it. And then within that long-term goal, I had short-term goals. Each week I needed to make a certain weigh-in. I wanna be at 2 pounds lighter. I wanna weigh in at this weight by Saturday. And that kept me hungry each week, because if I didn't have the short-term goals, then it'd be easy to get lazy. Oh, the show's 13 weeks out. I got time, I can get lazy. So you have those short-term goals. And then the only way to hit these short-term and long-term goals is by getting a plan, a program. So don't just go into the gym and dilly-dally, or don't just decide to cut out one thing here, go for a walk one day, and that's it. Actually have a plan. Have a program that you follow every single day, every single week. Doesn't need to be intense, but just so you know what you're doing in the gym that day. You have a goal laid out that you have to achieve and live up to. And then have, a diet plan, a nutrition plan, even if it means you hire a coach, somebody who's going to give you some sort of structured guidance to follow. So you wake up every single day with a purpose and with a goal. That's what's going to keep you driven. Otherwise, and I'm sure you've seen this a lot, you're going to try all of this, everything we just said. You're going to love it, be amped about it, posting about it for the first 2 weeks, and then you're going to have one day where you don't feel like doing it, you fizzle out. That one day turns into you quit the whole thing.
And that's ultimately what consistency will actually look like, is that you'll have these little blips where you're doing pretty good. You might do something 5 days in a row. You might take 2 days off. You might do something 3 days in a row. You might take 3 days off. But eventually, it should kind of get to a point where you're getting your stuff done basically no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's always happening. Within a month, you're getting in your walks. Within a month, you're getting in your lifting. Within a month, you're eating properly. Within a month, you're sleeping properly.
And it adds up.
In general, you're doing most of the things correctly most of the time. Yes, you might have a drink here and there. Yes, you might mess up, or vacations might come up, or holidays, or you might be a little bit more out of shape than a previous time. But I think a really easy way to set goals is to, rather than striving for things that are maybe, just seem really like hard. They seem really, really difficult. I agree 100% about getting outside your comfort zone, but for each person, the comfort zone is so different.
Right,
Some
right,
people are just
right.
so scared to even step foot into the gym.
So True.
Keep in mind, when he's saying comfort zone, he's not saying that you need to do a bodybuilding show, that you need to do a powerlifting meet.
Correct.
All those things would
Correct.
be great, and we're huge fans of those things. But think about a time that you've been embarrassed because you weren't in shape enough to go on a hike with somebody, or think about a time when you went to the beach and you were the one person that couldn't take the shirt off. Like, we've all been humiliated. We've all been put through all kinds of stuff in our lives. We've all had our shortcomings just revealed to everybody and have felt really awful about it. So what are you going to do about it? What is the thing that you're going to do to start to make some changes? And it's just going to start by putting one foot in front of the other, like it always does. You're going to start with some really small changes. Maybe you have a goal. Maybe you say, you know what? My 30th birthday is coming up, or my 40th birthday is coming up. On that day, I want to be able to do 10 pull-ups.
Right.
On that day, I want to be, I just simply don't want to be 300 pounds anymore. If I can get under 300 pounds by my 40th birthday, that'll be perfect. I do that all the time with myself. My 44th birthday is coming up, and I'm part of the reason why I'm jacked and tan right now is I'm trying to be in the best shape that I possibly can for December 10th.
Yep.
And look more leanerist and more peeled than ever.
You're already looking peeled like a banana, my friend.
Thank you.
Yep. It's even just throwing up a picture of yourself in a bikini or a bathing suit that you are ashamed to wear right now. Committing to by August 1st, I'm going to throw up a picture in that bathing suit no matter what on Instagram or just on Facebook for my friends. Even that can be a goal that's outside of your comfort zone. So
Absolutely.
Well said.
100%. Well, there you go. You got a bunch of tips to be less fat. And if you guys want to kind of find out some more information on how to get less fat, I started Operation Get Less Fatters. It starts this time every year.
Hey.
Nick, what I did is I recognized that around this time, I think people start to break out the Halloween candy.
Oh, yes, we already have.
And then you have full intentions of like handing it out to kids, but
then you eat it.
You eat the whole thing and you don't have any candy for anybody, so you shut your lights off on that night. But I just recognized that people start to gain weight around October, November, December, and it's always
January,
like,
June, August.
I'll wait till next month. I'll be like, oh well, the summer's coming. I'll get in shape for the summer, and it just carries on and on.
Yeah.
So I'm basically just exposing people to some different diets and some different exercise routines, just to offer something out to them that they can do and they can try, and they can say, oh, I actually like a bodybuilding diet, or it's not for me. I like a keto diet better. Just to give them options, have them try. I like counting calories, or I like this particular diet, or I like walking, or whatever it is, just to try to expose people and say, hey, look, you don't have to do it one particular way. There's a lot of ways to get there.
Right. I agree.
There you go. You guys now have a bunch of tips to get locked and loaded and to get leaner. Strength is never a weakness. Weakness is never a strength. Catch y'all later. Want to give the camera a punch?
Yeah. Weakness is my biggest strength.